In 2016, 47% of general-purpose law enforcement agencies had acquired police body-worn cameras. Of those agencies, only 60% of them had actually been using them. At one point or another, you may come in contact with a police officer in your life. It will be your word against his or hers. Police body-worn cameras allow the police officer to be held accountable for their words and actions. With your support, I'm sure we can get all agencies to equip and deploy their officers with police body-worn cameras. My name is Camille Dixon, and I am personally invested in police body-worn cameras because I not only study criminal justice, but I also am joining the police academy in December. Today, I'm here to tell you the benefits of police body-worn cameras and how they improve trust between civilians, help corroborate evidence, and improve training opportunities. Let me begin by saying that police body-worn cameras are not in any way to point out every flaw of the officers. Police body-worn cameras are in place to help with training opportunities with new officers as well as old ones. The number one importance is decreasing liability and increasing officer accountability. With decreasing liability in mind, we need to think about the civil payouts. Many people are concerned with the cost of police body-worn cameras. However, the chief of police in Phoenix, Arizona stated that it would only cost $3.5 million to suit its 3,000 officers. To put that into perspective, in 2014 in Baltimore, Maryland, they spent $5.7 million not only on settlements and awards, but another $5.8 million on legal fees to help with civil lawsuits. Yes, this does come out of your tax dollars. Police body-worn cameras can and will help with decreasing lawsuits by using footage captured and showing right and wrong with what the officer is doing. Dr. Brian P. Kelly, an assistant professor in the School of Engineering Technology, Department of Security Systems and Law Enforcement Technology at Farmingdale State College, stated that the discoverable contents on departmental camera video may allow for the advantage to essentially be in the corner of the officer and not the suspect. Although that may be true, body cameras will help distinguish between mistakes and just rotten officers, which in my opinion is not only a win for just the agencies, but also for the civilians that are supposed to trust the officers serving them. With that being said, next we focus on the lack of trust between the community and police officers while using police body-worn cameras. Police body-worn cameras will help capture the video footage between officer-community relations and interactions and will help create better documentation to confirm the nature of events at hand and support either the officer's events and the community's residents. Because community policing is a big thing that agencies stress, this is something that we should all look forward to in bringing us together at one. Community policing allows the agencies to place police officers in the same part of the community and then help them form stronger bonds with people living and working in that area. How can this happen when people are scared to call the police because they don't know if they're going to get someone that they can truly depend on or someone who abuses their power? Brett Chapman, a social science analyst for the Office of Research and Evaluation, stated that the research team from CNA did an experiment on the Las Vegas Police Department and showed that officers with police body-worn cameras generated fewer use of force reports and complaints from citizens than those who did not have police body-worn cameras. Additionally, officers with police body-worn cameras issued higher numbers of arrests and citations than officers without the police body-worn cameras. The takeaway from this statement is people act differently when they're being recorded. I'm not only talking about police officers because they should be held to high standards regardless of if they're being recorded or not, but citizens may also act differently if they know that they're being recorded. That may result in a higher rate of civilian compliance and also may prevent the use of force in many situations. Both go hand in hand with lawsuits and civilian complaints, which then in turn make agencies look worse. If agencies look bad, then trust within the community goes down, and it all could be solved with a tiny camera. Finally, let's take a look at the use of evidence with the police body-worn camera and how it affects the criminal justice system. There's no denying that many criminal cases come down to the testimony of the arresting officer alone. There are many officers in court that become the sole witness of evading arrest charges, speeding violations, and resisting arrest charges. While they are only the sole witness, the judge and jury get to decide on who they believe, the officer or the suspect. Many factors come into play here, however, it's usually a credibility contest. Ultimately, no one is going to think or hope a police officer is going to lie, so for the most part, the police officer is going to win. The fact of the matter is, people lie, and unfortunately, police officers are people too. USA Today identified 1,200 police officers with proven histories of lying that have not been flagged by prosecutors. How scary is it that they could potentially testify and ultimately wrongfully convict somebody, all because of a credibility issue? If it could be more widespread that the courts could accept police body-worn cameras into evidence, some cases could be dismissed or even uncharged because of the police body-worn cameras. Chris Roberts, the director of the Criminal Defense Clinic and the School of Law at the University of Texas at Austin, stated that in a substantial number of cases, video footage will resolve the age-old credibility contest, meaning the more widespread these cameras are used, the more each person in the criminal justice will benefit. It only backtracks everybody. They ensure police officers are doing their job properly. In closing, the benefits of police body-worn cameras in the criminal justice system are to help with training opportunities for not only new but old officers, establishing trust between communities and their fellow police officers, and to confirm all statements are true that are given by police officers in court by using video-proof evidence to back up what is said. Police body-worn cameras are a part of the developing technology in the 21st century, and it is something that we should all grow accustomed to, especially if it not only helps the civilians, but it also helps with improving trust. I think that if different agencies around the United States' eyes were wide open on their officers, a lot of the events that got reported would be contradicted by the evidence that is backed up by police body-worn cameras. If you or a loved one were the only two people alone with an officer who's acting unlawful, how would you want it to be remembered? Now, this is an unlawful arrest that's caught on tape that ultimately got resolved with the officers got reprimanded by it. If the police body-worn cameras weren't in place, the officers might get away with this arrest.
How you doing? Good, right? Where's your driver? You don't see the issue, you're fine.
Now, once again, my name is Camille Dixon. This is for class CST 100 for Professor Pearman, and this is my information speech.